You're pissed off now.
Do I look pissed off? Do I look pissed off?
Very pissed off.
Really pissed off?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you
Outrageous.
fucking would if you were in my
Outrageous.
chair.
It started. It started.
Yeah. Oh, I just can't get the followers these days.
You got the flowers.
Hmm?
Yeah.
You got the flowers, that's nice. Did you do that?
Apparently that.
Hang on.
Apparently that. Hang on.
That's right. You can go now. You don't.
I bet Adi Shanti doesn't know this trouble. I bet he doesn't know.
No.
Does he start on a Friday night though?
He doesn't buy the beer, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You learn from his mistakes.
And he does silent.
Yeah.
Silent.
And yeah, that's
This is
where
a piss
silence
retreat.
come from. You know?
Hmm?
That's why he does silent retreats.
Ah,
It's the
dear.
only reason.
The only reason. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not your servant. You can tell that we've started, haven't we? It's like everyone's quiet, we're waiting now.
Well, and people don't like to speak because it's being recorded.
Yeah.
If it wasn't being recorded,
That's
it
also how
wouldn't
we
be.
know we've started. Or is it?
Yeah, most people are really self-conscious about speaking if it's
Yeah.
being recorded,
Yeah.
even if they're never going to hear it, because they hate to hear their own voice.
Yeah. You might hear it, you never know.
No.
We're just going to hear that.
Yeah, that's the only. So you do have to speak, so we can't hear that out there. So we might have to say something, otherwise, I don't know how good the microphone is on the camera. It might be able to pick up
I closed the door. I just want.
what's going on out there.
I hope she's alright.
Mm.
Should I go and get them?
But there is a self-consciousness when about starting, yeah. Stupidly, you know, it's nonsense. But
For you? Or
Pardon?
others?
Is there a for me? No, there isn't for me. No,
Crack on it.
that's a bit rich.
I'm joking.
How rude! Crack on. What do you want to know, James?
Actually, this is it, isn't it? I don't mean that in that way.
Sounds
but
a little bit cliched when you
No,
say it
I
like
don't mean
that.
that. What I mean is, that's, it's just we can start like this.
Well, we have by the looks of things.
Exactly.
But we didn't start like this. We started with me starting.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you this. I'm telling you this. We started. I sat here. One by one, my whole audience got up and walked out
To get some beer
to
and
get,
wine.
well, Prosecco.
Yeah.
So what have we learned for your you
Well,
have
the-
another retreat?
Well, the lesson is this. There's nothing. Well, there's no respect for one. I've learnt that.
A dry retreat.
Maybe I can see the advantages. I can see why people don't have drinking all
Wet
afternoon
retreats.
before, because it becomes a little
Just put it
bit
on the internet. This, by the way, this will be a
mayhem.
It wasn't a good idea, was it?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it makes no odds. Does it? Doesn't matter, does it?
It does make it
It might be
better.
better.
It depends what you mean by better.
Well, I feel quite happy. Normally I don't in non-duality meetings.
So you already feel better than you would normally in a non-duality meeting.
I think it's different layers.
There's layers. There's lots of layers.
There are lots of layers.
There are no layers.
It feels like it though.
Yeah, it does.
Well, you can tell the story that there's lots of layers.
Yeah,
if
of
you want
course.
to explain, someone says, "Oh, you feel better than that," and you say, "Oh, yeah, layers."
Yeah. Yeah, if you try and explain anything.
You have to introduce
Yeah.
layers
or
and
comparison.
structures and
Mm.
all of that kind of stuff. Yeah,
It's just all comparison.
yeah.
It's all conversations ever are, really.
Well, it's sort of, isn't it? Yeah, you're sort of making something up that is going to fit in a way.
And just storytelling.
Just storytelling and
That's all we do.
kind of lying in a way. There's always an
Not
element of just
necessarily.
like, did I say the truth there? No,
I
not
think
really,
you should
not
keep
really.
that one for yourself. It's not universal, that lying thing.
I don't know, I do it a lot.
You're not alone in that, I'll say.
No, there's been research.
Yeah. But and at least you're aware of it.
Yeah, I'm really aware of it.
We are. In storytelling, it's really hard not to exaggerate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost impossible. If you, and
Even
I
if
don't,
you know you do
I
it,
don't know
you carry
anyone
on
who
doing it.
catches themselves. If you catch yourself do it, you've already done
You
it, so
just
you have to
carry on,
carry it
yeah.
on. You virtually never say, sorry, I've just exaggerated
Yeah.
there. It wasn't really that good or that bad.
No, I was trying to impress you actually.
I do quite like to add sometimes if it's really boring.
It's so
A
true.
true story.
By the way, that actually happened is a good way to finish a story. That happened.
Yeah.
It's true. And it's not really, it's just a story.
It's never. It's just a made up repeat of what actually happened.
There's no accurate retelling of a past, is there? Just can't do it. We'd all experience the same situation and retell it in our own way, with our own exaggerations and lies.
Yeah.
Embellishments, we could call them, not lies.
Yeah, I was.
The good storytellers are just the ones who embellish it the most. Then they're the people who you like speaking to, and the ones who can't embellish it at all, you just walk away from, because they're boring as hell. So the liars are the interesting people to talk to, aren't they?
Yeah.
Comedians say
Yeah.
the same thing.
They already know what's going to entertain you.
Yeah.
The people who don't know what's going to entertain people just don't really know what to say, and
No.
then people don't necessarily want
No.
to talk to them at parties.
And it's not easy to make non-duality entertaining. It's not easy.
Or I don't know.
I mean,
The successful
there are.
ones.
No, I don't think they necessarily do.
Some
No, I don't.
Prosecco,
There's only.
some wine.
Yeah.
No, it really isn't that easy though, because you're not offering anything. I mean, you're not, and
You're not-
and you can tell stories about it, but
Mm.
you're always going to say they're just stories. So in effect
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just saying, well, and what I've just said isn't true, which all the good ones say.
Yeah, they do.
So
Yeah, they're sort of acknowledging that you can't help but tell stories.
yeah, but there isn't a story about non-duality, you see. So you can't even tell a story about it.
Yeah.
So it
So
was all a story.
so what we're trying, it's all the stories, yeah, but you can't tell a story about it because there isn't an it to tell a story about. So in that sense, you're never talking about the subject
I suppose
that we're talking about. You're never actually directly talking about the subject because there isn't one.
the clearest
Apart
one,
from,
I
all,
suppose,
apart
is
from
just
all of them.
not saying anything. That's the clearest way to
Well,
speak about it.
and they're quite popular. Silent retreats are popular,
Mm. Mm.
but not for drinkers generally because they're pretty dry, or smokers.
That's
Mm.
true. Yeah. Yeah, there isn't an it. It's not an easy thing to hear.
No.
But there's also the enjoyment of talking about it, this, non-duality, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. No, and it's
Delving
fun.
into that.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah, see, I love talking about it, but it's only. you know, you're not talking about it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that sort of suggests there isn't it.
When you know you're not talking
No,
about
when someone says, "Oh, I love talking about
it.
it,"
Mm.
but there isn't an it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's all. As you come to a non-duality talk, what you really are hoping to hear is there is actually an it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
And this is
I would say most
and
seekers
people
are. Yeah.
will tell you it. Obviously, they'll say, "Oh, they'll be very clear about
Yeah.
it. This is it." So you're already. It's just like, "Oh, great! I came to the right talk."
Mm. Yeah, that sounds really nice, doesn't it? You are. I'd like to tell you that, but I can't tell you that.
But
that
then,
you are it because.
But would you then, alarm bells would ring if somebody's sitting there offering you something? And then this is bullshit, this is...
Yes and no. I mean, I don't know what's going on for me turning up at a meeting like this. I must be after somebody to tell me actually there's an it that you haven't got that actually is probably better than, or at least will relieve you of, your pain.
Mm.
And then and you just I want someone to explain it
Mm.
in a way that it just changes something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember looking for that.
yeah, that's the kind of, well, when I look at it, it's just like, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm just, because we naturally want explanations and we want
Yeah.
to know.
Mm.
It's just so, yeah, because we feel that our pain is not it. That can't
Well,
be it.
Yeah, and of course it is.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So there isn't it, and it's our pain, and it's our
Mm. It's everything. Yeah.
drinking, and it's our walking
Yeah.
out the room, and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there isn't an it, and all the its are it. Mm.
But can you find it?
No. No. There's nothing to be found.
Why not? If your pain is it, why? You're finding it already.
Or you're not finding it.
So
Pain.
if you cannot find it, how?
No. It's already present, so you wouldn't. It's not to be found, because it's. I think as a seeker, all I was ever trying to do, I was waiting until I found it. That's what the seeking was. That's what my desire was, to find out, to know it. I wanted to know. And I'll know when I know. And all I want to tell you is that you can't know. There will be no knowing. This is not knowable. You will know pain. You will know happiness. You will know loss. You will know joy. You'll know love. And all of those are, if we're saying it, we'll call it it then if you want. They are all it. But they're but they're all empty. And so you can't, so you can only know the fullness. So the fullness is all of those, you could say, experiences, those happenings, those, the things that you like and dislike, what happens in life. You can know and name those, but you can't know what they are. That's what we're talking about. They're not knowable in that sense. But you can know pain, but you don't know what that is. It's just pain. You don't know, you can know love, but you don't know what love is. It's not an explanation. So the experiences are not an explanation.
Oh,
They don't make any, you're not going to, you're not going to be able to sit in front of a camera and have a room of people who've drunk a little bit too much and be able to explain it to them, which is what you wanted to do as a seeker. Because there's nothing to explain. There isn't an explanation for this. There's as many explanations as you want. You ask 100 people, they'll give you 100 different ways in which this is going to be as it is, which is what we're talking about. None of which are true, they're just a story, and the ones who can really embellish it, they'll be making a lot of money, selling a lot of books, and really people having a lot of followers who want to have the knowledge that they've got, so that then they could explain it, and then they're wise and special. There would be nothing more special than being able to explain this. That would be the ultimate. That's what all seekers are after. They will believe anyone who tells them that they've found a secret. I know the secret. And I just, don't ask me how, but that just is absolutely not possible. You would have to know everything, because this is everything. So in order to have an explanation of this, you would have to have knowledge of everything. And when I say everything, I'm saying everything that is currently known, has ever been known, will ever be known, could possibly be known, and then it wouldn't be an explanation of this, because this is the entirety. So it's vast beyond any sort of possibility of comprehension. It's the all, it's everything, and completely nothing, simultaneously. And anyone who suggests that they have some understanding of that I would just laugh in their face. Always said that. It would just be laughable to say that you know what this is. And I know so many people who will tell you they know what this is. Well, that's the great illusion.
But
That
what
we
it
could
sound-
that we could possibly know. And
But
I
I
want
think-
to say that the freedom is the not knowing, and that it's only me that wants to know, and the freedom is freedom from the need to know. The need to know is the curse for most human beings. That's what curses you. That's what haunts you. That's what follows you like a black dog. It's hounding you. It's hideous, this need to know. You don't need to know. This is perfectly okay without you knowing. You will not benefit by any illusion of knowing. And that's what me is. Me is, the sense of self, is the illusion of I know what's real and I know what's unreal. I know how this came to be like this. I know, therefore, I can do a pretty damn good job of predicting what tomorrow will be. And so that illusion, so the whole illusion of time is mine. Self and time, me and time, they're just completely wedded together. Because there I feel safe and I have knowledge of. So I existed before and I exist now and I will exist in a moment's time. I know how I got here. I know how I travelled here. I know what I'm going to do on Monday when I leave here. It's nonsense. It's just a story. It's just all made up. And nearly all human beings live in that. And they don't just live in it, they live in it as a reality that's real. It's not real. This is the only reality, and we don't know what this is. It's absolutely unknowable. And completely ordinary. When I say unknowable, it sounds so mysterious. It's not mysterious in the least. It's just what we are. What everything is this. It's completely known, not in a rational, logical, intellectual knowing, not that kind of knowing. An intuitive knowing, you could say. It's just absolutely known. Everyone knows this. There's nothing else to know. That's all there is. And so that's known without knowing it. There's no need to know it in order for it to be known. That's not rational, that's the paradox. But it is absolutely known. And it's completely benign. This is totally benign. Because it's completely free. It's completely neutral. This doesn't have an agenda. It's only you who have an agenda. Each human being has an agenda. This doesn't have any agenda at all. It has no direction. It has no desire. It doesn't have any
preferences,
morality. It has no it's empty of all values. It's empty of all. It's completely neutral on whatever criteria you wanted to bring to it. It's only human beings who have brought that to this, and each human being brings its own unique. There's broad patterns, but each human being brings its own unique story, and imposes that on this. That it should be a certain way. And you could say that's the root of all suffering, is that this is not quite how it should be, or it's dreadfully not how it should be. And I will set about making it how it should be, for me. Make it better for me. And it won't ever be any better. This is all there is. It just doesn't get any better or worse than this. This is the absolute. That's it. There's just nowhere else to go. It's so beautiful when you don't have to go anywhere else. And there's no travelling. Oh, it's just... The thing is, me doesn't like that. The trouble is with this message is, it sounds like, you know, I heard it over and over again and I really wanted it. It sounded attractive. But I tell you, you don't want this. There's no place for you in this at all. None. Because you are the desire to get what you want, for it to be, this to be how it should be. That's what me is. Me, the sense of self is I don't know what it is exactly, but it's that driving, it's that energy to make this better for me, safe for me, secure for me, happy for me. For me to be at peace. You are the not at peace. That's what you are. Your sense of being me, of being I, is the sense of not rightness. Because you're not at one with this, you're separate. And then you're working to make this fit you. Well, this isn't interested in you at all. This is completely ambivalent about you. Absolutely. That's so clear that this couldn't give a shit about you. Not that it's negative towards you, it's just... So not caring sounds, because me is so obsessed with caring, not caring sounds a negative. I'm suggesting it's not a negative at all. Not caring is completely and utterly neutral. That's the peace. Not caring is absolutely, is the beauty, is the rest, is the peace, is the peace that passes all understanding. It doesn't make any sense, because not caring, I would have always thought was, it sounds callous, it sounds harsh, it sounds... And if you say it to most human beings who have a really strong sense of self, it sounds awful, but it's actually the exact opposite. And in that, there's more caring. But this doesn't care. Which is amazingly beautiful, that it doesn't care. Because the caring was always for me. The caring was always mine.
But I think when you say this doesn't care,
Yeah.
you sort of bring to that, okay, well this is conscious and it doesn't care.
No.
And that's the thing, isn't it? So what you're talking about is literally just a negative.
No, I said it doesn't care, but it doesn't not care either.
Exactly. If there is something that is conscious, then
Yeah.
it can either not care or care. So,
Yeah.
But it's.
But you know what I mean with people. So the majority of human beings look to religion to relieve their suffering, don't they? It seems. If I look at the world,
Or therapy.
most people still look to religion.
Okay.
Therapy is a very elite Western thing. Most of the world, I mean that's from our really privileged Western perspective, we talk about therapy. For most people that's wouldn't even know what you're talking about. Most people go to religion to try and relieve suffering. And they go to religion because they say there's a God that really cares. You know, it's all about that. I will be cared for. Well, there's no freedom in that at all. That is the ultimate incarceration. It's the antithesis of freedom. You must bow down before. It's the most infantile thing you could ever do. That you humble yourself before Almighty. And I get why people do it, because they want to be looked after, they want to be cared for. But of course there's no freedom in being cared for, is there? Where's the freedom in that? It's the absolute opposite of freedom. Because of course your God could desert you at any moment, and then you'd just be terrified. or you're always terrified that your God might desert you, or whoever you've put your care or your welfare is in their hands. No, and it's totally understandable why, as a self, you would want to do that. But in terms of freedom, is this what we're talking about? The caring is actually the imprisonment. Which again, it sounds a bit nihilistic and it sounds callous, but weirdly it's not at all. It's just neutrality is love. It just sounds weird. We always think love and hate, but it's the non-judgment. That's the love. The unconditional is the love. Love is in the it doesn't matter. Everything is as it is. The as it is the love. And this is always as it is. It's never not.
But we always think of love as like coming from somewhere to somewhere.
Yeah, it's not.
And that's
Condition of
that's
that.
not it.
No.
Well, but also it's like it's a conscious love. It's just like it's a love that comes from somewhere, and it goes to somewhere. That's what we think of love.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's aware that it's love, and all
Yeah.
of these things. That is exactly what we think love is.
Yeah.
So which sort of, and actually I think in non-duality there can also be a lot of that. Yeah, I mean people who broadly talk about sort of this idea of everything is love or whatever. It still seems like everything is emanating love, or their love is coming from everything, and still in this kind of it comes to me. Therefore, you can't help but personalise that, because love is not. You talk about benign, which I think love is benign. It's just my word for that would be acceptance, but that is absolutely not like I accept something. Because you have to. Normally, we think of acceptance as you have to accept
There isn't a good
thing.
There isn't a good word. There isn't a word that doesn't have
No, well, I mean, no, but I mean, you
baggage with it. I mean, love isn't a great word, but I still think it's the best. It's the one I use. It just seems most right.
Yeah.
And acceptance is nice because this is already accepted. You could say that. But it's accepted by no one, or nothing's accepting it. So acceptance always is such a personal word, isn't it? Because I choose to accept or not, and it sounds very much like
yeah.
And of course, this couldn't care less whether you accept it or not.
Well, I mean, but the point is, when you say it doesn't care less, you're still assuming that there's a conscious thing that either could care or not, and I don't think that's what you're saying.
No.
You all the time when you say, "Oh, this couldn't care" or whatever, the absolute. And I'm not challenging you here.
No,
absolutely.
absolutely.
All I'm doing.
There
is
isn't
just
a good way of saying
it. But I mean,
I'm trying my best.
All the time, there is this kind of idea that there's a consciousness of like, it doesn't care, it does care, or whatever, or it loves, or it doesn't.
So what you've got to say, there isn't an it.
Yeah. In the first place, yeah.
So there's no it.
Yeah.
So, but we've got to use some objective word in order to say what we're talking about. Oh, because the language doesn't work at all. I can't speak otherwise. We couldn't speak about anything if we don't objectify. It's not possible.
I know, but we don't.
We only talk about objects. That's all we can talk about.
No, but we don't even need to talk about it.
Well, there wouldn't be a retreat then.
No.
Of course we don't. Of course we don't need to talk about it. No, of course not. Absolutely. But we will, just to get it clear, of course there isn't an object that we're talking about. So when I'm speaking, I'm not talking about consciousness. I'm not talking about awareness. I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about oneness. I'm not talking about emptiness. I'm not talking about nothingness. But I might use